So welcome to Pure Yoga, the mindful movement for the Yoga Fusion and Union month of April. So this practice is going to be thinking about supporting and grounding and setting an intention at the beginning. So if you want to join me either kneeling or with cross-leg position, bringing the hands onto the top of the thighs wherever you are, take a close of the eyes. And just take a moment to scan the body from the top of the head all the way down to the fingertips, down to the toe tips. So with this practice, we're going to be working with the base chakra, which is the Muladhara chakra, and the colour of this chakra is red. This chakra is all about support, grounding, finding stability. So we'll be thinking about rooting our points of contact to the mat at all times as we move throughout the flow. So whilst you're checking through that body, just thinking about anything that feels tight, anything that's maybe a little uncomfortable, or just noticing whether that body feels good today. Just being aware that when we move through yoga, we have to be mindful and be concerned about anything we're looking after, but also maybe challenging things that we'd maybe be a little lazy on. Take a moment while we're in this position to set an intention for your practice and maybe an intention for your day. I'll give you a couple of moments to do this. You can revisit that intention at any point as we flow through the practice. So starting to open the eyes. Relax the shoulders back, squeeze the shoulder blades together to open a little through that chest. Release the hands down by the sides of the body. Then on your in-breath, raise those hands up towards the ceiling. And on your out-breath, bringing your right hand to your left knee and your left hand behind to bring it to that space at the lower back. And just find a little rotation facing the left side of the room. Come back to center, bring both hands back up to the ceiling. This time bring your left hand to your right leg and your right hand to your lower back, and just find a little rotation to this side. Bring yourself back to center, both hands lift, and then releasing your left hand towards the floor, tent the fingertips, take a lateral flexion over to that left side of the mat. Come back to center, both hands lift to the ceiling, and then bring your right hand down, tent the fingertips, reach over with your left hand to the right side of the room. Come back to center, both hands lift, and then release hands to the knees, bring the chin into the chest, and send the center of the spine all the way to the back of the room. So we're taking that flexion, stretching the skin across the spine from the base to the top of the head. And then take it into the opposite direction, bring the fingertips behind you, lift up through the chest, and stretch that front side of the torso. Feeling the expansion through the rib cage, gazing up to the ceiling, or letting the head, if the neck's happy, drop and gaze back to the back of the room. Come back to center, and then find yourself facing your short edge of the mat if you're not already, in a kneeling position. And we're going to start our practice with some Earth Salutations. Take a breath in, take a breath out, and turn the palms forward. On your in-breath, raise the hands to the ceiling, come away from the sit bones, lift up the hips. On your out-breath, reach forward with the hands, scoop the body through, bending through the elbows, and on your in-breath, lift up the chest. On your out breath, bring the chest back down, tuck under with the toes, bring the chest back towards the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet to find our first down dog of the day, and take a paddle of the feet here. A nod and a shake of the head. Then bring those heels to stillness. On your breath in, your right leg lifts. On your breath out, bring your right knee to the heel of the right hand. Place the knee down, bring your right foot underneath the body. Walk your left toes back to find Pigeon Pose. If you want to take a hold of your right foot with your left hand to move it a little more forward. And then just rock those hips a little from side to side, moving through those shoulders. And then tucking those back toes under, lift up with the back knee. Lift up with the hips and step your right foot back to meet the left. Take a little paddle of the feet. We have a little siren going on the outside there. Bring those heels back towards the mat. Your next breath in, your left leg lifts. Then bring that left knee to the heel of the left hand and bring your left foot underneath the body. Walk your right toes back and rock those hips a little from side to side. In that Pigeon Pose, softening through those hips, stretching through that right hip flexor as you stretch that right leg to the back of the mat. Tuck your toes of your right foot back under, lift your right knee back up, lift the left leg back to the ceiling and bring it back to meet the right. Take another paddle of the feet, a nod and shake of the head. Then bring yourself back to the knees, untuck the toes, bring your seat back to your feet and your hands down by the sides of the body. We're going to take that little flow again. Take a breath in. Take a breath out, turn the palms forward. On the in-breath, push into the tops of the feet, lift the hips, bring the hands to the ceiling. On your out-breath, reach forward with the arms, plant the hands and scoop the body through. In-breath, lift the chest. Out-breath, release that chest back down, tuck under with the toes. Bring the chest back towards the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift at the hips and squeeze those heels back. Take a little paddle of the feet and a nod and shake of those heads. Then bring those heels to a stillness. Your breath in, your right leg lifts. Your breath out, bring that knee to the heel of the right hand and the foot just under the body. Walk the left toes back, untuck those toes and rock those hips a little from side to side. In that Pigeon Pose, piriformis muscle stretch on the outside of that right hip. Feel all those points of contact to the mat, the hands, the knee of the right, the knee of the left. Maybe the outside edge of that right foot and the top of the left foot. Tuck your back toes back under, lift up your back knee. Lift that right leg back up to the ceiling and bring it back to meet the left. Take a paddle of the feet and a nod and shake of the head. Bring those heels back to stillness. Your left leg lifts on your inhale. Bring that left knee to the heel of the left hand and your left foot under the body. Walk your right toes back and untuck them. Rock the hips from side to side. Feeling all those muscles around the pelvis being softened as we find that stretch of Pigeon Pose. And then tuck those back toes under, lift up the back knee. Lift the left leg back up to the ceiling. Bring it back to meet the right. Take a little paddle of the feet, nod and shake of the head. Come down onto the knees and tuck the toes. Heel of the hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Take a breath in, lift up the head, lift up the bum, let the belly drop down to the floor. And on your out breath, let everything tuck under, chin to the chest, tailbone tucks. On your next in breath, lift up the head, the chin, point the chest forward. On your out breath, fold everything back in. Come back to that neutral space, tabletop position. Step both feet back into a plank. Lift up the hips and squeeze those heels back. We're going to start with our flow. 2 poses first and then we'll add on as we go. Come down onto the knees. Bring your right foot through in between the hands. Tuck your back toes under and lift up your back knee. Bring your left hand to the floor as you reach up with your right hand and turn the chest to the right. So we're taking a rotated lunge. Reaching up with those fingertips as much as you can towards the ceiling. Push in and ground into that left hand and right sole of the foot. And then drop your left knee down. Turn your left foot slightly away and off the mat. Bring your right foot back and find a supported side plank, left knee down. And really open that chest up as you reach a little further back with the right hand. Maybe gaze up to that ceiling as you open that chest up. Bring yourself back to center. Bring your right foot back forward, helping it through with the right hand if you wish. Tuck your back toes under, lift the back knee and walk the hands around to the left side and all the way to the back of the mat. Right hand stays down on the floor as you reach up with your left hand and gaze up to that left thumb. Turning to the left side of the mat, but we're now facing the back of the mat. And then drop your right knee down to the floor. Turn your right foot slightly off the mat. Send your left foot back to the back of the mat to find that supported again side plank. And then send the left arm further back and open the chest up to the ceiling. Feeling that space that's being created along that left side body into that front side body. And then bring yourself back to center. Let your left foot come back to the back of the mat. Tuck your back toes under, walk the hands around to the right side. So you return back to the front of the mat. Drop your left knee down, bring your right knee to meet the left. Bring your seat back to the feet to find yourself back into a kneeling position, ready for those Earth Salutations. Take a breath in. Take a breath out, turn the palms forward. Take another breath in, push into the feet and the shins as you lift up with the hips. And on your out breath, reach forward with the hands. Scoop the body through. Lift up with the chest. Release the chest back down. Tuck under with the toes. Chest comes back to the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up with the hips and squeeze those heels back. Take a nod and a shake of the head. Your next breath in, raise up with the right leg. And on your out breath, bring that knee to the heel of the right hand and the right foot under the body. Drop the hips down and send that left foot back. This time, if you're happy to come onto elbows, come down onto those elbows and forearms and settle into this pigeon pose for a couple of breaths. So this practice will be particularly nice on the hips. It will help with any tightness that you get on the outside of the hips around the glute medius as we're stretching through that piriformis muscle, which is the band that runs front of the body to the back of the body around that hip joint. Just taking another breath here. Then coming back up onto the hands, and tuck your back toes under. Lift up with your back knee. Reach up with the right leg to the ceiling and bring it back to meet the left. Take a paddle of the feet and a nod and shake of the head. Your next breath in, your left leg lifts and bring that knee to the heel of the left hand and the left foot under the body. Let the right toes squeeze back to the back of the mat and the hips drop towards that left heel. Then if you're happy to come back onto forearms and just let the body settle over that left shin. Holding it here just for a couple of breaths. Easy breaths in, easy breaths out. Then coming back up onto the hands, tucking your back toes under, lifting up with your back knee, step your left foot up to the ceiling and bring it back to meet the right. Take a paddle of the feet and a nod and shake of the head. So we're going to do those two poses again, starting on our left side. So bring the knees down, bring your left foot through in between the hands. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee, keep your right hand on the floor and reach your left hand up to the ceiling, gaze up towards that left thumb. Turn the chest, stack the left shoulder on top of the right. Keep that back leg nice and straight, left knee bent. Then bend into that right knee and drop it down to the floor. Turn your right foot off the mat slightly and send your left foot back and find that opening through the chest. Breathing into that front body space. Then bring yourself back to center. Bring a bend into the left knee and bring that left foot back to the front. Tuck the back toes under, walk the hands around to the right and then to the back of the mat. Keeping that left knee lifted, place the left hand to the floor and reach up with the right hand and gaze up to that right thumb. Easily breathing into these spaces that feel tight. And then drop that left knee down and turn your left foot slightly off the mat. Send your right leg back. Open the chest. Find the space in that heart chakra. Working with that element of air. And bring yourself back to center. Bring a bend into your right knee. Step it back to the front. Tuck your back toes under. Lift your back knee. Walk the hands over to the left and back towards the front of the mat. Drop your right knee down. Bring your left knee back to meet the right. Untuck the toes. Bring the seat to the feet and find yourself in that kneeling, low hip position. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Turn the palms forward. Breath in, push into the shins. Lift up with the hips. Lift up with the palms. On your out breath, reach forward with the hands to the mat. Scoop the body through. In breath, lift up with the chest. Out breath, release that chest back down. Tuck under with the toes. Bring those chests back towards the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet. Lift up with the hips. And paddle the feet as you arrive in that downward facing dog place. Keep some space across the collarbones. Those shoulder blades going towards those back pockets. Bring the heels to stillness. Your next breath in, your right leg lifts. Bring that right knee to the heel of the right hand. Right foot underneath the body and let those hips sink. Untuck those toes. Let your left hand thread underneath your right hand and bring your left ear to the mat if it reaches, or just come down onto forearms if that feels more comfortable to do so. We're just taking a little rotation through our pigeon pose just for a breath. Then push into that right hand, bring your left hand back through. Tuck your left toes back under, lift up with your left knee. Lift up with your right leg to the ceiling and bring it back to meet the left. Take a paddle of the feet. So same thing on the left side if you wish to go with that, or just take normal pigeon. Breath in, lift the left leg. Breath out, bring that left knee to the heel of the left hand and bring your left foot under the body. Walk your right toes back. This time thread your right hand underneath your left arm and bring your right ear to the mat and find that rotation of the body. Or just come onto forearms or stay up on hands. Work with what your body requires you to do, listen to it and feed back into the mind whatever your body is telling you to do or not do. Push into that left hand, bring your right hand back forward, tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee, lift that left leg up to the ceiling, bring it back to meet the right, take a paddle of the feet and a nod and shake of the head. Come down onto the knees. We're going to take another two poses. Step your right foot through, in between the hands. Sink your hips as low as you can and let that right knee come beyond the ankle of the right foot. Support with your left foot. Reach up with the hands and take it into a little back bend. Finding the hands going beyond the shoulders, the gaze to the ceiling. Squeeze that left bum cheek to protect that lower back. Easy breaths in, long breaths out. Then bring the hands behind you, straighten up through the hips. So the left knee is stacked with the hips over. Heel toe the right foot out to the side. Interlace the fingers behind you. And then sink that right shoulder to the inside of that right knee to find a little humble warrior. The hands can stay at the lower back or lift up so they stack on top of the shoulders. If those shoulders are tight, keep the hands to the lower back. Breathing easy into these spaces of tightness. Support through both feet as we push strong into that floor. The gaze is down. And then bring those shoulders back up. Heel toe that right foot back into the centre. Bring the hands either side of the right foot, tuck your back toes under, lift the back knee. Walk the hands all the way around and to the back of the mat. Drop your right knee down. Untuck the back toes. Sink the hips low, let that left knee come beyond that left ankle. And then support through the feet as you bring the arms up and take it into a back bend. Squeeze that right glute as we hold it in this extension of the spine. Lifting those arms back as far as you can, flaring through those ribs. But if that lower back is pinching, just come up a little higher. Then release the hands to the lower back, stack the hips over your right knee, heel toe your left foot out to the side, squeeze the shoulder blades together and then fold to the inside of that left thigh to find a humble warrior, right knee down. Release the neck, let the gaze go down. The arms can either be low or those hands can be lifted, however feels best for you right now. Feel that support of the earth. Maybe re-engage with that intention you set at the beginning of practice. Release the hands back to the lower back, lift the torso back up. Heel toe that left foot back to centre. Release the hands either side of the left foot. Tuck your back toes under, lift up your back knee. Walk the hands back around to the right and all the way back to the front of the mat. Drop the left knee down. Right knee back to meet the left. If you need to shuffle yourself back a little on the mat, ready for the Earth Salutations. Bring your seat to your feet. Take a moment in kneeling. Take a breath in. and out. Turn the palms forward. Breath in, push into the shins and lift up the hips, hands to the ceiling. Breath out, low with the hands, scoop the body through. In breath, lift up the chest. Out breath, release that chest back down, tuck under with the toes, bring the chest back to the thighs. Pushing into the hands, pushing into the feet, lift up the hips and squeeze those heels back. Weight comes into your left foot, your right leg lifts. Bring that knee towards the heel of the right hand and the right foot under the body. Untuck the back toes and let those hips sink. So staying up on the hands this time. This time you can have a choice of bending into that left knee and squeezing it towards the bum. Bring your weight into the left hand and reach around with your right hand to grab a hold of that left foot. So just taking a slightly different variation of pigeon, but remember you can go with the most basic of pigeon if you wish, or challenge it, or go to a pigeon that we've done earlier. Release that left foot back down and your right hand back forward. Tuck your toes of your left foot under, lift the left knee, right leg lifts to the ceiling, and bring it back to meet the left. Take a paddle of the feet. Same on the left side. Take a breath in, reach up with the left leg. Bring that knee of the left to the heel of the left hand and the left foot under the body. Walk the right toes back, place the right knee down. So again, choice to stay here or on forearms, or if you want to take a bend into that right knee, put your weight into your right hand, reach around with your left hand to grab a hold of that right foot. All the time protecting the lower back, making sure knees are comfortable. If these don't feel right, you could always take a little mini vinyasa if pigeon pose isn't your thing. Then bring that left hand back, release those right toes back to the mat. Lift your right knee away, lift your left leg high and bring it back to meet that right foot. Take a paddle and a nod and shake of the head. And we'll take those two poses starting with the left side. So bring the knees down. Bring your left foot forward in between your hands. Sink your hips low, let the left knee come beyond that ankle of that left foot. Reach up with the arms and take it into a mini back bend. Check in with the lower back, squeeze the right bum cheeks to protect it. Maybe gaze up to the ceiling if you feel you're okay with that balance. And then release the hands to the lower back, lift the hips over that right knee, interlace the fingers, walk the left foot to the outside edge of the left mat, and then bring the chest to the inside of that left thigh as those hands reach up. Relax the neck, relax through the shoulders. And then release those hands back to the lower back, lift back up with the chest. Heel toe the left foot back into the centre. Release the hands either side of that left foot. Tuck the back toes under and lift up the back knee. Walk the hands around to the right. So we're taking ourselves all the way to the back of the mat. Drop your left knee down and tuck the left toes. Sink the hips. Let the right knee come beyond that right ankle. Then reach up with the hands. Take it into your desired back bend. If a back bend isn't for you, you can always keep the hips lifted a bit higher. If you're with me, sink the hips low. Remember that lower back is important to stay unpinched. Squeeze the glutes to protect it. And then bring the hands behind you. Interlace the fingers. Lift the hips over that left knee. Heel toe the right foot out to the side. And then allow the body to fold to the inside of that right knee. Maybe the hands lift away from the lower spine. Relax the neck. Push into the top of the left foot, the sole of the right foot. The support from the floor is really important for your balance. Bring those hands back to the lower back, lift up with the chest. Heel toe the right foot back into the centre. Bring the hands down either side of the right foot, tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee, walk the hands around to the left and all the way back to the original front of the mat. Drop your right knee down, bring your left knee back to meet the right, maybe walk your knees back slightly and bring the seat to the feet, getting ready to take on an Earth Salutation. Take a breath in, take a breath out, turn the palms forward. Breath in, push into the feet and the shins, lift the hands to the ceiling. On your out breath, fold forward, bring the hands to the front of the mat. Scoop the body through and lift up with the chest. Release the chest back down, tuck under with the toes. Bring those chest back to the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet. Lift up the hips, squeeze those heels back. Weight comes into your left foot, your right leg lifts. Bring that knee to the heel of the right hand and the right foot underneath the body. Let the hips sink down. Roll onto your right hip and bring your left foot around to the front. Take a hold of the base of the foot with the hands. Bring your weight onto your bum and then point that left heel up to the ceiling to get into the hamstring of that left leg. Just holding it here for a couple of breaths before we go back and take it on the other side. Relax the shoulder, grow tall through the spine. And then take a bend back into that left knee, send it back to the back of the mat. Find your pigeon pose just for a breath. Tuck your back toes under, lift up with your back knee, left leg lifts. Right leg lifts, and we bring that back to meet the left. Take a paddle of the feet. Same on the left side, weight into your right foot as your left leg lifts. Bring that knee to the heel of the left hand and the left foot underneath the body. Walk your right toes back and drop the right knee. And then let the bum of the left bum cheek come to the mat. Swing your right leg around. Take a hold of the sole of the right foot with the hands interlaced. Weight into the sit bones and then point that right heel up to the ceiling to get that hamstring stretch on that right side leg. Relax the shoulders, tall through the spine, grounded through the sit bones, stretched through the posterior chain on that right leg. Then take a bend back into that right knee, send that right foot all the way back to the back of the mat. Find pigeon pose for a breath. Then tuck those back toes under, lift up the back knee, left leg lifts. Bring it back to meet the right. Take a little paddle of the feet and a nod and shake of the head. Come down onto the knees. Take a little rock of the hips from side to side. And then bring your right foot through in between the hands. We're going to lift up with the left hand and find our knee down, warrior two. So our shoulders are turning, our left knee is grounded, our right foot is pushing into the floor with the sole of the foot. And we're trying to squeeze that right knee out to the little pinky toe edge of that right foot. Gazing towards those right fingertips, feeling a little stretch down that hip flexor on that left leg. One more breath here. Then scoop the left arm down and around, right arm up and over to find our twisted warrior with the left knee down. Maybe gazing back towards that right hand, or bring that right hand to the lower spine if it's a little uncomfortable for the shoulder. Turn the left palm to the right side of the room. Windmill the hands back up and over to either side of that right foot. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. Walk the hands around to the back of the mat via the left side. Drop down with that right knee and tuck the right toes. Windmill the right arm up and over and find your warrior two, knee down with the right this time. Gazing to those left fingertips, Left knee squeezing out to that little toe edge on that side. Just feel that stretch along that right hip. And then scoop the right arm down and around, left arm up and over, turn and twist the body to the left. Maybe bring that left hand to the lower spine to help with the twist. Keep planted and grounded through the knee of the right, the sole of the left foot. And then windmill the hands down either side of that left foot. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee. Walk back around to the front of the mat. Drop your left knee down, bring your right knee back to meet the left. And then bring your seat to your feet and find yourself in kneeling. Take a breath in. Take a breath out and turn the palms forward. On your in-breath, push into the shins, raise up with the hips, hands to the ceiling. On your out-breath, fold from the hips, bring the hands forward, scoop the body through. Lift up with the chest. Release the chest back down. Tuck under with the toes. Chest comes back to the thighs. Then push into the hands, push into the feet, lift at the hips. Squeeze the heels back. This time we're not going into pigeon, we're just going to move our knee into 3 different places. So weight comes into the left foot, raise the right leg to the ceiling. On your out breath, bring that right knee to the nose and squeeze. In breath, raise that right leg. Out breath, right knee to right elbow and squeeze. In breath, raise that right leg. Out breath, right knee to left elbow and squeeze. In breath, raise that leg. Bring your right foot to meet the left. Take the same on the other side. Breath in, left leg lifts. Breath out, knee to nose. Breath in, lift. Breath out, left knee, left elbow. Breath in, lift. Breath out, left knee, right elbow. Breath in, lift. Breath out, left foot meets the right. Come down onto your knees. Last little flow to starting with the left foot. Bring your left foot through. Reach up and over with the right hand and find your warrior knee down with your right knee and left knee squeezing out to that little toe edge. Then scoop that right arm down and around. Left arm up and over, either pointing that left hand back or bringing it to the lower spine, finding that rotation of warrior with the right knee down. Then windmill the hands down either side of the left foot. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee, walk the hands all the way around to the right and to the back of the mat. Drop your left knee down and then tuck the left toes. Windmill the left arm up and over, turn the shoulders. Right hand forward. Keep those hips nice and strong, supported by the glutes. Then scoop your left arm down, your right arm up and over, either bringing your right hand to the lower back or behind you, maybe gazing back towards that right thumb. Pelvis stays neutral to the short edge of the mat and the shoulders to the long edge. Then windmill down either side of that right foot, tuck your back toes under and lift that back knee. Walk the hands back around towards that front foot. Drop your right knee down. Bring your left knee back to meet the right. Untuck the toes. Find yourself in a kneeling position for a breath. Keep those eyes closed for a moment. We're just going to finish with our Earth Salutation, dropping off any kind of pigeon pose at the end, but we're going to do 3 Earth Salutations. Take a breath in. Take a breath out, turn the palms forward. On your breath in, push into the shins, raise the hands to the ceiling. On your out breath, fold from the hips, bring the hands to the floor, scoop the body through. Lift up with the chest. Release that chest back down, tuck under with those toes. Bring those chests back to those thighs. Pushing into the hands, pushing into the feet, lifting up the hips, squeezing of the heels back. Come back down onto the knees, untuck the toes, bring the seat to the feet, shoulders over the hips. Take a breath in. Take a breath out, turn the palms forward. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling, lift up the hips. Breath out, fold from the hips, bring the hands to the floor, scoop the body through, and on your inhale, lift the chest. Your exhale, release the chest back down, tuck under the toes and bring the chest back to the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips, squeeze those heels back. Come back down onto the knees, untuck the toes, bring the seat to the feet, the hands to the sides of the body. Take a breath in. Take a breath out and turn the palms forward. In breath, push into the feet, lift the hips, hands to the ceiling. Out breath, fold from the hips, bring the hands to the floor and scoop the body through. On your inhale, lift the chest. Your out breath, release the chest back down, tuck under with the toes. Chest comes back to the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips, squeeze those heels back. Take a little bend into the knees, put your weight into your left foot, bring your ankle of your right onto the left thigh, and then see whether you can push into the hands. Open the right knee out, so we've got a figure 4 in down dog, holding it here for a breath. Pushing that chest as close towards that shin of the right as you can. And then straighten through that left leg, bring your right foot to meet the left. Weight comes into your right foot, the outside ankle onto your right knee. Bend into the right knee and squeeze that chest in towards that left shin. Finding that figure 4 in down dog. Just one more breath here. Straighten that right leg back out, left foot to meet the right. Come forward into a plank. Lower the knees, turn the creases of the elbows forward, untuck the toes, and slowly release that body to the floor. Bring the hands underneath the forehead, stack one on top of the other. Then take a bend into your right knee, bring it out to the side. Make sure your right foot and right knee stays on the mat. You try and encourage that right hip into the mat by squeezing the glutes on that right side. Let the head settle on top of those palms. We're taking this pose to neutralize the spine a little, getting a little openness through that inner right thigh. Try and relax the shoulders, relax the jaw. Straighten that right leg back out and bring your left knee out to the side. Your left foot stays on the mat and we just let that stretch come to the inner left thigh. We squeeze the left glute to push that hip into the mat a little closer. And then straightening that left leg back out. Rolling onto your side into a fetal position. Making a pillow with the hands, taking a bend into the knees. Knees stacked, ankles stacked, shoulders stacked, elbows stacked and wrists stacked. And just take a few moments here. Closing the eyes. Maybe taking a long, deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Maybe revisiting that intention that you set at the beginning of practice. Being aware of whether you followed your intention. Maybe that intention is for when you leave the mat. Feeling whichever side you've rolled onto, being supported by the floor, that grounding. That nurturing of the earth. Just taking one more breath in this space. Then when you're ready, slowly making your way into a seat, pushing into the top hand, finding a comfortable seated position with the eyes gently closed. When you've found that seat, bring the hands onto the top of the thighs. Take a roll of the shoulders up to the ears, back down towards the hips. Whatever direction you've just taken, take it the other way. Bring those shoulders up to the ears, back down to the hips. On your breath in, reach the hands up to the ceiling, palms together at the top. And on your out breath, bring the hands to the chest. Soft gaze to the floor. Breathe in wisdom and peace. Breathe out love and joy. Namaste.